Welcome everybody. Today we are discussing about where is Mark Karpeles today. He was the CEO, not the founder of Mt.Gox. He purchased Mt.Gox, but at the time, many years ago, more than close to a decade now, that was the only crypto exchange. There was no other competition. It was the Amazon of Bitcoin back then. And more than 850,000 Bitcoins went missing. So we're talking about an amount, even after the crash, that's more than $40 billion. So at the time, Mark Karpeles was the lead suspect. There was a couple other suspects. One of them was a Russian gentleman who was behind BTC-E. That was a crypto exchange that was not just for the Mt.Gox Bitcoins that were found flowing through his accounts, through his exchanges accounts, but also billions of dollars were laundered for criminal enterprises. So with that gentleman was arrested and sentenced to 5 years. Mark Karpeles actually served time in Japan for more than 1 year, but he was eventually released. And right now, he's most likely worth well over $1 billion. So let's discuss about Mark Karpeles, where he is more than a decade after pretty much everything unfolded. When he purchased the exchange, then he was operating it for a short time, and in 2014, 2015, pretty much everything crashed, and Mt.Gox solely was responsible for the decline of Bitcoin's price for a very long time. That was one of the greater crashes, more than close to a decade now. So let's discuss about Mark, and let's get into it. Thanks for viewing. So the history of Mt.Gox goes like this. Mark Karpeles purchased Mt.Gox, which was originally a Magic the Gathering trading website. So a long time before Bitcoin was even created, Magic the Gathering, a card game, came out, and this gentleman by the name of Jed McCaleb had the idea that, hey, it's popular, let's do a website where you're able to purchase these cards, whether it's in person or virtually, and just trade them with other users. So Jed McCaleb had this going for a little bit, then he shut that down, then he used it again for something, and he realized, hey, this is going to be big. When Bitcoin came out on Bitcoin Talk, the original forum, he made a post initially that he's going to make this into an exchange. He had the domain kind of sitting around, Mt.Gox Magic the Gathering online trading or something like that, Gox online exchange. Yeah, so with that, he took the domain and transformed it into Bitcoin. He used the same platform. Instead of trading cards, now you're just trading crypto. Really easy switch, didn't take a lot of programming, but he got bored. He got very bored with it quickly, and he listed it up for sale on Bitcoin Talk, and Mark Karpeles took him up on it. This was back in 2011, and then he had the Bitcoin exchange for a year, Jed McCaleb, before selling to Mark Karpeles, and Mark Karpeles had it from 2011 to 2014. So in a 3-year period, he was able to grow this from $1 million enterprise into essentially later on having 850,000 Bitcoin stolen, which back then was a lot. Right now, it's, again, tens of billions of dollars that we're talking about. Absolutely insane software. So there were a couple notable people. Roger Ver and Jesse Powell actually worked with Mark Karpeles to help the site recover after it went offline for a couple days. In the early days, it was getting hacked. And the first hack was for 25,000 Bitcoin. Later, it was revealed that this 25,000 Bitcoins that were stolen eventually led to the full 850,000 being stolen, because it wasn't over a period of a couple days, couple weeks. It was over that 3-year duration, a little bit, couple thousand here, a couple hundred Bitcoins here. And eventually, over a 3-year period, the hacker had extreme patience because they were able to collect a wide sum of 850,000, which started from the main hack of 25,000. Also, the hacker sold online on the darknet the safety information about Mt.Gox to other hackers, so they were also able to potentially use that information, use that data against Mt.Gox. And what did Mark Karpeles do? He did not change the security aspect of the company. He was ill-informed, ill-prepared, and, to be quite frank, very immature and unwise, and he didn't really deserve to be there as the CEO. He should have been fired, but he purchased the company, so he couldn't be fired from his own company. So in that case, he basically ran it right into the ground. So the website was originally hacked, then it was hacked again in 2013. And then there was also legal battles with the U.S. government and regulation about cryptocurrency. There's this whole big regulatory nightmare with crypto and Mt.Gox. And Mark Karpeles, during the whole ordeal with hacking and regulation and all this, he was very calm. He said everything's going to be fine, and behind the scenes, nothing was done. So people assumed by him saying everything was fine that their team is going to go back, they're going to improve the website, they're going to make sure that these hacks never happen again. That's why a lot of people later suspected that he was in charge of embezzling the funds himself. But really, to be quite honest, after a lengthy investigation, the Japanese government is known for being very serious. And there's a lot of cases where the Japanese government basically has the opposite of the American mentality. You're innocent until proven guilty. There, you're proven guilty, and 99% of the people, even if you're innocent, you're going to jail. That's it. Mark Karpeles spent a single year in solitary confinement, which of course is not comfortable. I'm sure it was not a pleasant ordeal. He was getting investigated the whole time. There was a lot of interviews between him and the Japanese police, but eventually they decided he wasn't guilty of stealing the bitcoins. What he was guilty of was he was actually doing some illegal things in addition to being kind of the nonchalant, whatever, very cool CEO who didn't really care about his company. He was also falsifying electronic records, and he was found guilty of that. He was sentenced to 2.5 years in prison, but his sentence will not be carried out for 4 years, provided he maintains good behavior and the time that was served. That was back on March 15th, 2019. In March 2021, lawyers representing Karpeles opposed a motion for class certification in a lawsuit against Gregory Green, one of the victims. They argued that the rehabilitation plan through the Tokyo District Court would be more beneficial to the plaintiffs in addressing their losses from the exchange hack in 2014. There was this wide argument where with the massive rise in the price of Bitcoin, Mark was actually saved by that because they were able to, apart from the 850,000 Bitcoins that were stolen, they found somehow a wallet with 200,000 Bitcoins, and the price of each Bitcoin rose greatly, so much so that it was able to address all the funds that were originally in Mt.Gox. So all the victims were able to get their funds back, plus the remainder would just remain with the company, or since the company was kind of dissolved, it went into bankruptcy, it would remain with Mark Karpeles and his team. And that's why Mark Karpeles is most likely a billionaire. So as of today, over the past couple of years, he said he's been less involved in cryptocurrency. He wants to avoid getting into more trouble than he's currently in. In 2018, he told Fortune magazine that he began employment with London Trust Media. It was a company based in the United States, and his position there is the Chief Technology Officer. Very interesting. It's basically a VPN company. Apart from that, most recently, he made news saying that 2 months ago, all the Mt.Gox victims will now be entitled to an NFT to help recover funds. Again, this is kind of really weird. He wants to airdrop NFTs. It's kind of like rubbing salt in the wound, I guess. He also wants to get back into the startup world of cryptocurrencies. He recently announced, again, this was actually a couple days ago, he recently announced he wants to return with MtGox. This clever christening indicates the undoing of his crypto exchange's failure and his attempt to protect investors' interests. He wants to make a company that addresses the problems everyday investors would face while investing in crypto. He's definitely got quite the resume. It's revolving crypto, but I don't know if it's the one you'd want to see as an investor. So he's back into crypto. MtGox will deep dive into currently active crypto businesses for thorough scrutiny and will be launched shortly, Q3 2022. It will assign a score for each service provided by the organization under evaluation, thus making it easier for investors to understand if a project meets all requirements. We'll see if it's successful or not, but some people say he's doing a turnaround. Other people are saying he's a criminal. So on Saturday, August 1st, 2015, Mark Karpeles was arrested, and he was charged with manipulating Mt.Gox's records in order to increase the balance of his own account. After almost a year in prison, he went to trial in Tokyo for embezzlement and manipulating corporate records. Mt.Gox was shut down in 2014 and filed for bankruptcy. At one point in time, it was handling over 70% of all Bitcoin transactions worldwide by early 2014. Now, by February 2014, it was basically close to shutting down. On 7th of the February of 2014, Mt.Gox halted all Bitcoin withdrawals. On the 17th of February, Mt.Gox withdrawals still halted, and competing exchanges were back in full operation. This was after Bitcoin transactions were paused because there was a bug in Bitcoin software. As it's noted above, makes it possible for someone to use the Bitcoin network to alter transaction details, and it would basically be like duplicating Bitcoins. You would have something, wallet A that received the same amount, one Bitcoin, wallet B, you're able to duplicate that, and you're able to make Bitcoins out of thin air, like the treasury, I guess. So a lot of exchanges around that time. By 2014, there were other competitors and more cryptocurrencies on the market. They went back. Mt.Gox never ever returned. That was his death date. On the 20th of February, Mt.Gox still had all withdrawals halted. They issued yet another statement. They didn't give any date for the resumption of withdrawals. And at this point, you already had multiple people who are very upset. They realize they're never getting their money back. This is when the photos of the victims were protesting outside. And from this point forward, it was basically all, broke loose. On the 23rd of February, Mt.Gox was he resigned from the board of the Bitcoin Foundation. On the 24th, Mt.Gox suspended all trading. Their website went offline. And on the 25th, Mt.Gox reported on its website that a decision was taken to close all transactions for the time being, and Mark Karpeles basically left that exchange at that point. And the second person, this was the Russian in charge of Bitcoin E, that was Alexander Vinnik. He was facing charges for money laundering. People suspected after Mark Karpeles that Alexander Vinnik was the one who stole it. I don't think he was the one who stole it, but the funds definitely did go through his exchange, and he definitely did participate in money laundering and other criminal enterprises, so it's not like he's an innocent victim. So we had MtGox here. With the current state of Mt.Gox, it's not here, but the 200,000 Bitcoins are, and they're worth anywhere from $6 to $8 billion. Mt.Gox may return the Bitcoin pretty soon. The Japanese trustee for Mt.Gox is likely to distribute the remaining trove of Bitcoins sooner than later. I'm sure if you've been waiting for so many years, you just can't wait to get your hands on that, because this is a large sum of money for some people, millions of dollars for some cases, and I'm sure, the situation has changed a lot since then. There's probably bills to be paid for certain people, and I'm sure certain people have already died, unfortunately, waiting for these Bitcoins. So hopefully they get it pretty soon. But it's interesting that during this whole ordeal, he did spend a year in prison. However, if he doesn't break the law or do anything bad, he won't go back to prison. He's a free man, and he's going to most likely remain in Japan, although he's able to go anywhere he wants, really. After the Mt.Gox bankruptcy, I've been following the developments in the crypto space, and I've seen some exchanges taking steps to prevent a second Mt.Gox. For instance, by implementing transparency reports. Despite this, the trend died down very quickly, and today's situation for many exchanges is very similar to what led to Mt.Gox's bankruptcy. In January of 2018, Tokyo-based Coincheck admitted that a hacker had stolen $532 million worth of its holdings. Overall, there's around $1 to $2 billion worth of crypto that is scammed or stolen or hacked every single year, and that number is steadfast growing. If you had an account with Mt.Gox, you can now access MtGoxNFT.net and provide the needed information to get your Mt.Gox account ownership verified and NFT minted. That gives you top-level access to the service so you don't get Goxed again. Since there's expected to be a large number of applications, the actual process will take a few weeks. Mt.Gox had 1,066,097 customers. As soon as your NFT is ready, you'll receive an email, and I'm not sure what that really is going to do, since Mt.Gox is not back up. It's never coming back up. But hopefully you get your money reimbursed pretty soon. If we go to the actual website itself, this is how it looks like.
just really has a little bit of news, and that's pretty much it. There's going to be a DAO and NFTs. Again, if you had your funds stolen, you just want the money back at this point, and it's been an ongoing ordeal, but at least you are aware that your money's coming back. A lot of people were freaking out for many years. Now it's for certain, but you just don't know the date that you're going to receive those funds. And some people are going to be waiting longer than others, unfortunately. With Mark Karpeles, I do suspect he's going to go back fully into cryptocurrency, and already being a very wealthy man, he might establish another cryptocurrency exchange, although possibly not in the country of Japan. I don't know. We'll see. That's pretty much it for today's video.
Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Have a great rest of your day.